Hi, everybody. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and on this special event, a special day, special time for the return of our good friend, Steve Wilson, comedian. How are you, Steve?
I am great. Mentally I'm a little messed up, but I'm great to be here on this show here with you guys.
But Steve, what makes today any different as far as your mental?
Well, in Los Angeles, there's a lot going on. There was like 4 comedians overdosed over the weekend, and I knew all of them. 3 of them died, and the other one, Kate, she came out of her coma yesterday, and it's
And
just
we
like
will. Yeah, I'm very sorry about that. We will talk about that because there's been a number of things going on. But other than that, how are you dealing with things in terms of getting out to work and on stage and or not?
Well, Los Angeles is opening up a lot more, so the comedy clubs are starting to get back in full stream. But we still lost like 2 major clubs: the Comedy Union, J. Anthony Brown had a club, and there was a comedy union. There was only 2 black clubs, and we lost one. And then the Comedy Magic Club. So we lost, like, if you want to say 30% of the clubs in the city. So it's kind of a strange dynamic, but we're getting through it, man. We're gonna be all right.
Have you been to Jay's spot since it reopened?
Since the last time I did this show, I did Jay spot too. Hey Jay, man, they charged me for drinks. We need to talk about that, brother.
Wait a minute.
How about some of that good food?
No, you know what? The burger was good. I stole a burger and fries. Somebody ordered it, and I was like, they don't want that. So I just, it was good.
How are you, Coy Malone?
I'm doing pretty good. I don't know. It must be something in the air. It has definitely been a challenge this week, just progressing through life and getting ready to make another big change for myself as I'm preparing to actually move into my dad's home and getting it ready and repaired, and just moving from an apartment to a house is something big.
Yeah,
you don't realize how much goes into a house until you actually have one.
Trust and believe. You're absolutely right. And hello, did you hear that knocking? That's adulthood. No, that's adulthood.
I like the opportunity better.
I thought she just called you old. Like, that's old age knocking. Because I was looking like, I see it 70 around the corner.
Right. Oh, goodness. Oh, my gosh.
No, I wasn't calling on age thing, but it is another one of those adult moments when you not only, Coy, and not to be a downer in all of this, but certainly in those times when you bury a parent, you go through and you take care of all of that parent's affairs and to take care of their business. And now you are not only going to clear out his house and put it in shape for you, you're moving in, and that's a lot, and in short fashion too. In a very short period of time, all of these things have happened to you. So that's a lot of adulting that you're having to do right now.
Yep, it's this very moment. But it's okay. Everything's going forward. And, on a lighter note, I saw a lifelong friend get married this weekend, and congratulations to her and her new family. That was just beautiful to see. So I'm just seeing like a lot of these adult moments happen. Like, dang, have I been living in a bubble for the last few years or something?
Yeah.
Whoa.
A lot of the stuff happens pretty quickly. So how was the wedding? Was it socially distant? Were you there? Was it Zoom? What was that?
I was there. They had an outdoor ceremony. It was fairly socially distant.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
They said like that. They wouldn't wear masks.
Fairly socially distant.
Everybody was in a row where nobody else was sitting. So we made sure to do that. Tables weren't really socially distant. We didn't really stay long. We had on our masks. People were still very aware and cognizant of that. They all were wearing masks as well and were pretty well spread out. They came and stayed with who they were with, like their own pods and things like that, which was, commendable, but still being very, very careful out here. Like even with we went to the jazz festival for a few minutes. Everybody was spread out, but we were still very concerned about getting close enough to the stage to watch because we would be in a bigger crowd. So we decided.
And at a jazz concert, do you really need to see it, or is it really about hearing the music? So was it necessary? Okay.
Well, you know the artist, like Gregory Porter, you might want to see him, but anybody else, you can sit way in the back and be good.
And Gregory Porter, you know what he's going to look like. He's going to have that great hat on with the flaps down.
Lord, it's me.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on in topical news. And as you alluded to there, my friend, Steve, we're talking about a number of deaths. And the one that the latest one is been announced this afternoon. This is, of course, the actor known for what they call his breakout role as Omar Little on The Wire. And there he is there, dead from suspected drug overdose, as TMZ is reporting. He was found dead in his Brooklyn apartment this afternoon after a nephew had not heard from him in a couple of days and went to do a check on him. And he was found in the living room of his home. They report that drug paraphernalia around him, suggesting he may have died from the overdose. Michael K. Williams was really quite a star and had become, just...
Here come Omar. When they start whistling, here come Omar down that street,
Right.
Such an iconic character, man. It's just
and that is true. His character will be one of those that years from now, as we look back on those iconic characters, as you call them, his character will be one of those that we will call forth. He also had a number beyond The Wire. He was on a number of HBO series, including Boardwalk Empire, The Night of, and most recently, he was in Lovecraft Country. Yeah, he was also in movies like 12 Years a Slave and Assassin's Creed. And they say that he was 54 years old. He is survived by his son, Elijah.
That's way too young, man. It's like, it's so hard out here that people are turning to hard drugs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't judge nobody because I smoke weed. Like, I talk to the earth all the time, but I don't do the hard stuff. And I understand there's a lot of pain out there and you might not be booking the roles that you want. And it's just, who knows? It's just that's a big loss right there.
It really is.
Terrible.
It really is. And this, as you also alluded, Steve, this is on the heels of three comedians who are three members of the entertainment community who died after suspected overdoses this weekend. The one name that I recognize was comedian Fuquan Johnson. Died of an overdose with two others. A fourth person is in the hospital. They say that this party where he was in attendance with Kate Quigley, a comedian and model.
Yeah, Kate Quigley's a funny comedian. She also hosted the AVNs. The porn awards. Like, she's a very, very funny comedian, but it's crazy. I just performed with her at the Laugh Factory like a month ago, and then you always see Fuquan at the Ha Ha, and then the other one person was the sound guy from the Ha Ha. Rico, he was like a manager and sound guy. Rico, it's just crazy. Yeah.
This fentanyl stuff is going around.
This cocaine laced with fentanyl appears to be what was ingested by all of them. Autopsies are being done for the three bodies, and they are with the LA coroner's office right now. And this is also what they believe was involved in the death of Michael K. Williams.
Yeah.
I was texting with some friends and asking, when does the use of fentanyl become a crisis? And is it only after more white people start to use it and are dying from it, as these Black folks have? So it's going to be interesting to see how they do go forward with this and the investigation, as well as just reach out to your friends. I mean,
everybody's going through something. Reach out to them, because you just never know. People put on a good front and you don't know they're at home doing cocaine.
Right.
And cocaine, everybody knows that it's all been stepped on because they got to make some money. So they putting something on it. So why would you do it?
And so they're already putting a cut on it or adding something to boost it. And then you have the fentanyl, which we have come to know as something that was used by Michael Jackson and Prince and others. And so we know the deadly effects of it. But here's the other part, Coy and Steve. We never think it's going to affect us that way. Right.
When I was a kid, there was a basketball player named Lynn Bias, and I
Oh
knew
my gosh!
from
Yes.
that day on, I said I would never do cocaine because I was watching this guy, and we all looked up to him, and he died, and I was like, nope, never cocaine again. But then my other hero was Bob Marley, and here we are.
Okay. So here's the thing, though. Bob Marley died from cancer. He did not die from a drug.
Although we both get high with weed, so
but for the most part, people say that unless you get some bad weed is not going to kill you the way the possibilities are greater of dying from some other stuff. Lynn Bias is one of those cases. I'll never forget. I'll never forget where I was when they announced his death. I will never forget when just days before he had joined he was picked up by the Boston Celtics coming out of college.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was on his way.
Yes, and when I saw that story, I knew I would never do cocaine. That story scared me away from all drugs. I won't try ecstasy. I've been doing stand up for 33 years. I've been offered everything, and I say no because I'm afraid. And these stories here scare me worse. That I wish I could have been there for these young comics. Like no,
right.
These are a lot of things that I'm learning as an adult. I didn't know about Lynn Bias until I want to say earlier this year, maybe last year, there was a documentary that came out talking about pretty much the crack cocaine epidemic, how it happened, where it came from, how it affected our community the worst. And then they mentioned Lynn Bias, this young kid. Everybody looked up to him, handsome young guy, was getting ready to go to the NBA. Then
he was a top pick of the Boston Celtics, and he was just on his way. And
if you watch college basketball, we was kids, we looked up to him, and then he died. Right. I mean, it was the craziest thing ever. So
just like that. Life. Yeah. And that's the other part. People like you look at these stories, Steve, and make note of it and say, this is something I'm not going to do. Hopefully there are other children who are going to be who looked up to Michael K. White, maybe some young actors, and others in the entertainment business, and say this isn't going to be the way I'm going to go out.
Not to forget, this is also National Suicide Awareness Month as well.
And it's really coy, and I'm not trying to be funny, but in some way or another, it's always National Suicide Awareness Month for somebody.
How about that?
It's Black suicide awareness. It's, this suicide awareness, this organization, this group of people. But yeah. And yet we say it, but are we looking for the signs? Are we looking, to help people?
We don't. We don't even help ourselves. I push mental health in our community, and people feel like, no, I ain't going to see no therapist. They make it seem like it's a weakness or something. Like, well, I'm strong. You got to go talk to the people. I'm strong. And I'm like, that's not what it is, brother. They think you actually lay back on the couch and some white dude here, and some white dude write it down and tell the government your business. Like, no, that's not.
Right.
That type of thinking is what sometimes pushes people into that final step to take the ultimate step of going through with committing suicide, thinking that I can't go talk to these people and stuff like that. I'm always going to be an advocate for that. I lost 2 friends within 6 months to suicide. It was not easy.
That's
young.
That's another adulting thing there, Coy, because you got 2 up on me as far as I know. And I'm not trying to be funny. You just don't think in terms of, these things happening. But yeah, it's here. Another thing we need to give an update on, we don't talk about this enough, as a result of Hurricane Ida. How about that old girl?
Man.
Huh? How about it? Her death toll has risen to 12 storm deaths in Louisiana over the weekend, but still outpaced by the dozens killed in the flooded Northeast states. And that happened Wednesday night into Thursday. New York and New Jersey, among the 4 northern states that started the Labor Day holiday, digging through the debris left by the deadly deluge that killed more than 50 people in the Northeast run of Ida.
Yeah, she hit the Northeast way harder than she did the Gulf region. Yeah, I got family members, like their roofs are gone, and I've seen videos with the basements. It was crazy.
Yeah. So what are they telling you about that? Yeah, that's nasty.
Again.
That's nasty.
Well, my cousins in New York, they have. She owns a couple of properties. She has insurance. She's like, we're just gonna do what we got to do. And her house, the other house she lives in, is on the 2nd floor, so just their basement got ruined. So which is a lot. I mean, I'm saying it like it's a lot, but
It is.
we didn't get as much as everybody else because they're on the second floor. So
right, yeah, and people, having to take to their attics, and here's the other thing, you guys, and you think about this in New York, basement apartments are very common.
Yes,
there are people just I don't know how many numbers of people affected by this, by the flooding, as you're talking about, Coy. And people having, in some cases in brownstones, having to go up levels in order to escape the flooding.
What scares me, I live in LA, and I know an earthquake is coming one day, and to see how they handle stuff in New York and see how they handle stuff in Louisiana, I know we're gonna be alone for a while. This is my bedroom, you can't see it, but this is not a joke. I'm so scared. I want you to see what's next to my bed. My earthquake kit is right there. I have an earthquake kit next to my bed. That's how afraid I am watching these floods. I'm not joking. Look at this.
How long has that been there, Steve?
Oh my goodness.
For those of you who are listening and not able to see, Steve straddle across his bed and grab this big backpack, red backpack, that's his earthquake emergency kit. So, Steve, how long
I can survive? I can survive 3 days with that. I gotta hit the button. I don't know if you can hear me. I plug my mic.
We can hear you.
So in there, I have 3 days for stuff, because this is what I bought this when I was in a relationship. So it's enough. It's for 2 people for 3 days.
So you got 6 days. 6 days.
Me and my cat good in the mug. So it has scissors, it has water, it has vitamins for you to survive. It has food where you can just add water and it multiplies somehow, and it has like tools and gloves, because when buildings come down, you're gonna need gloves to put on and move stuff.
Yeah.
And it got cut. So it's a lot of stuff that cuts through plaster. It's a lot of stuff in there.
Wow. And is this recent that you purchased this?
I bought this 4 years ago, but
you might want to update some stuff.
Well, yeah, but I brought it. This bag is spectacular. It's updated, but this bag is good for years, man.
No, not the bag so much as just the things that are in it. Sometimes you might want to just replenish the water, or, the vitamins or the food. Take a look at the food.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't check the warranty to see how long it lasts. So maybe I should check on that.
I'm just saying. This is, having lived in Florida for a while, and we had supplies like that for hurricanes, and after a while you start eating the stuff up because you have to replenish it. And so, just because the dates of expiration are there. All right. Today is also a day in which federal benefits for unemployment has stopped. And even up to the last minute, progressives, including Jamal Brown of the congressman from New York, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also of New York, urging President Biden to revive the federal pandemic-related unemployment benefits that expired today for millions of jobless people. About 7.5 million unemployed workers will lose their unemployment benefits, and an additional 3 million will no longer receive that $300 weekly that was provided by the state when 3 federally funded jobless aid programs lapsed today. And the president, he's saying, I can only do so much. It's up to Congress to go up and do this. But leaders in Congress are saying they're kind of they're not washing their hands of it, but they're removing themselves. The normally more progressive people, they say that the youngins, the squad members, Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and Cori Bush, have called for extending the benefits, and she said the benefits expiration is a major concern, as it is for people, these millions of people who are now going to be without. And here's the other side of it. We're talking about unemployment that has helped people, and now a lot of states are saying, well, this is going to make people go out and get jobs. If we take the money away, this is going to make them, go up and pull their.
Are you sure?
They're not, Coy. That's the thing. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. It's not a sure thing. And so
I am so tired of our neighbors from the Caucasus Mountains that when it's like when I was a kid, when Ronald Reagan was president, they always would say, well, our grandkids are going to have to pay. Well, here I am. I'm one of those grandkids, and they ain't asked us to pay for nothing. So stop using that excuse and spend the money to get this country where it needs to be. We are not the Jetsons because of a couple of old rich white people that want to keep us where we are.
That's right.
We could be so far along, and
That's
I'm tired of it.
And they've got to make a lot of these improvements in whether it's in our in employment, whether it's in our climate. All of these things are really coming to the payment desk right now. All right, now it's time to move to what you need to know. And this is our newsletter, a reminder to people who may just be joining us. This is the What You Need to Know newsletter. Is our newsletter we created before the Tom Joyner Morning Show ended. And it is an effort to continue super serving the African American community with stories that affect us and that are by us. And we would appreciate you subscribing to it. If you go to SybilWilkes.com, just like that name says in the box right there, SybilWilkes.com, and it's absolutely free, and it'll be in your email box first thing Monday through Friday mornings. First up is our social justice writer, Coy Malone, talking about her story in today's newsletter, in the current newsletter. And Coy, this is about a young man that you discovered on social media who is a Black pilot, student of pilot, actually, and his name is King Davis. And so we also have Mr. Davis with us, and we invite him to come on and join us and hear about Coy's story as she talks to him. Hello, King Davis. I feel like that's Your Honor, Your Holiness, sir. We're having a problem. So, Coy, while we work on that, why don't you tell us about the story of King Davis?
Well, just briefly, King Davis is a student pilot who was attending a flight school in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Now, he's had the same flight instructor for a few months, since May of this year, and she's a young Asian woman. There's been a few times before where at the last minute before his classes, another flight instructor would reach out and say, hey, she's unavailable. I'm going to be your flight instructor for today. He felt like he, developed a good working relationship with this instructor and was very comfortable with her. So he said, I want to reschedule and keep this same instructor. This is who's been teaching me the entire time. Didn't have any kind of inclination of anything going wrong or what have you. So while he was on his way to class last week, he was about 5 minutes away from the school. It was at 12:45 p.m. She sends a text and says, I'll see you at 1 p.m. with a smiley face. And then before he responds, he immediately gets another text that says, F this Black guy. He's a no-show again.
I saw that story.
I'm like, whoa, okay. So he says, he pulls over to actually process what's going on.
And actually, let's ask him to pull over now while we're doing this story.
He might be on his way to flight school.
Right.
Finding another instructor.
That's why you're always late doing interviews. Get your ass to this place where you need to be.
King Davis, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear y'all.
Well, welcome. And Coy is telling your story. And Coy, if you want to get him to a place where he can jump in.
Yeah, so we're now just kind of leaving off at the moment where you receive the text message and your reaction.
I guess my reaction, like I was telling Coy, was the fact that I had been flying with this person for 4, 5, 6 trips. You're talking about 3,000 feet in the air over Lake Lanier, and we're in close quarters. So the inside of these Cessna planes are about the size of a Porsche, So I'm like, okay, so you text me this, and I'm trying to understand how or who was you texting, and trying to understand that, okay, I've been in the air with you 4 or 5 times. So where is this even coming from? Like, where is this coming from? This is weird.
And
I have a question. So you was flying over
Sure.
Lake Lanier and you confused about racism. Ain't that where the whole town is buried underwater? How the hell you confused about racism and you flying over Lake Lanier?
But I mean, even that, it's just, when you're in close quarters with a person, I'm just like, okay. And when I got the text, I was like 3 minutes away from the school, and I'm like, where's this coming from?
So,
Like,
but you she had not canceled you before, or she had canceled you some of your lessons. How was that working?
The week before, it was another instructor had texted me named Edward and was saying, hey, your lessons with me today. And I'm with me having the same instructor, I was like, no, like I just rather stay with my other instructor. I don't really know you. So when I told him that, he was fine with it. He's like, okay, cool. And I told her, and she's like, okay, that's cool. So it's just like when the whole comment came out like, oh, he's a no-show. I'm like, no, you was a no-show. Like, not me. Like, where's this coming from?
And so did you get any answers from this?
Here's the crazy part is that the person that I spoke to that runs the school with the owner knew exactly who I was when I called. And I guess they were the ones that made the call on firing them, right? The irony behind it is that I just made it up in my mind. Like I told Coy that I'm like, I'm not going back to that school regardless. It doesn't even matter. So I went to a new school, and when I called another school, all the schools heard about what happened. All of them. So exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's how.
So you put this on social media, or they learned through social media, or through the connection, the communication of pilots?
I put it on social media, and it went everywhere. Like it went everywhere. And the funny thing is like when I went to the new school, when I actually pulled up, the lady was just like, "Wait, you're the student that it happened to?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it was just like when I showed up, the new school had like pilots and the operations manager, and everybody was there. And I was just kind of like, okay,
Welcome,
like
King Davis.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, we like Negroes. Hey.
Welcome, Your Highness.
But the good thing that came about it was so many black pilots that DM'd
Oh, I
me.
like that. That's good.
So many of them from Atlanta and Memphis and like Texas that DM'd me and said, it's okay. It happened to me too. But you gotta move past this and keep going. And it was like 3 pilots out of Atlanta that fly currently that DM'd me and said, here's my number. If you ever got an issue, just call me. Just call me. I will tell you how to maneuver through this.
That's neat. Wow. That's really great. And so this particular pilot was fired. Your instructor was fired.
Yes.
Okay.
And you're not looking up at the sky and kind of wondering if she's found you and just gonna do a little dive bomb on you or anything. You're not scared about that, are you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
I just love it when black people are shocked by racism. I can't believe that somebody would just look at my skin color and do me wrong.
No, I don't know. I wasn't really shocked about it, like at all, because like I told Coy that it's a lane that we're not aware of. So I feel like it's the last thing that other races don't have that can hold on to themselves.
Wow.
So to be honest with you, I told Coy, like when I would go for my lessons and I took my girlfriend with me on my first lesson, I never saw any black people. I've never saw any black people in any of these airfields. I've never have seen it. And when I go in the airport, when flying my daughter back and home and traveling for business, I would look for black pilots. I know black stewardess. I mean, black,
flight attendants.
Flight attendants. Like I know black flight attendants, but I've never seen a black pilot. I've never seen one.
And so this is going to be a part of our discussion in our next segment because I was stunned when Coy wrote this. Not the story itself, but the fact that neither one of you had seen black pilots, and nor did you know anyone, black person that owned a plane. This really stunned me. And so I want to talk about that as we go into the next segment. But I do, Coy, if you have any other questions before we move on to other stories, I do want to continue our conversation with His Honor, King Davis.
I just want you to definitely... that is a great segue. Sybil, you really just hit it on the head right there. The fact that we don't see black pilots ever. I have not, and I mean, my dad was an aeronautical engineer. My boyfriend is an Air Force veteran. I've known other people in the Air Force. I have not met a Black pilot. The only ones that I can remember are the Tuskegee Airmen. That's it.
Okay, so like I said, we're going to talk about that next segment because and Steve, it stunned me. I mean, I started Googling stuff and sending Coy, information about all of this stuff, and she's like, I just haven't seen it. So we will talk about that as we get into the what's really going on segment. But I do want to talk about this being the holiday that we are observing, Labor Day, and we do talk in the What You Need to Know newsletter about some really tremendous leaders in the labor movement. A. Philip Randolph was one of those that we took a look at. This is a man who is regarded as one of the greatest labor organizers and leaders in American history. He started a union of elevator operators. So this goes back a long way because you guys only know about punching the buttons. There were people actually who did this back in the day. And so he started a union for them, as well as the Brotherhood of Pullman operators. And those were the Black attendants on the trains. These were the male attendants and also included some maids, mostly Black women. He started this in 1925. And he was also a part of organizing the March on Washington in 1963 with Bayard Rustin, who was one of the partners of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we also talked about a woman named Dorothy Bolden, who in Atlanta, you guys, created a union for maids, for domestic workers.
Wow.
And this was in the 60s and 70s, and brought together thousands of women and enabled them to go out and not only to get higher wages, but to get the respect that they deserve, get Social Security, all of these things that normal people were getting in their jobs. She was setting these women up and instructing them how to go about and do this. It was just an amazing woman. So we talk about them, and also give props to a man who's now the second highest member of the AFL-CIO. And his name is Mr. Redmond, Mr. Fred Redmond. He's the Secretary Treasurer, was just named to this position, elected to this position recently after the death of the head of the AFL-CIO, Richard Trumka. So we talk about those, and there are a lot of young, really progressive and great people that you can take a look at in our source information about the young Black people that are running and or playing big parts in our nation's unions. And so we congratulate them. Also, want to talk a little bit about the fact that McDonald's fans are in a McFlurry over the McFlurry machines. I don't know if you guys, I will be honest with you. I've never had a McFlurry. I don't know the depths to which people are going to figure out what is going on with the broken McFlurry machines that every time you go. And can any of you all speak to this? Going to McDonald's and being disappointed that your McFlurry is not available? Yes.
This is hilarious because they made it federal. Like they got the feds. I mean, everybody knows that the McDonald's milkshake don't work. It don't work. But they made it work. The fed who snitched.
So actually, you guys, there's so much behind this because of the type of machine. The same type of machines are used at other restaurants, but it's the special type that McDonald's uses that only can be repaired by a certain group of repairmen. Mm-hmm. And so the feds now are looking in to see, well, why just this machine? Why just this group of people? Why can't other people come in? Why can't the owner operators fix their own damn machines? And so it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. And of course, this is a result of the Biden administration looking for more openness in the way businesses are done. So the feds are checking out the McFlurry
Open up that machine and look at it.
Exactly.
And it's not our fault because we told them about breakfast all day. Me and Sybil ain't got nothing to do with that.
I don't know if you all saw the little commercial Steve and I were a part of a couple of years ago, reintroducing breakfast all day, and Steve was so good. Can I just tell you how good he was eating that stuff? And I was like,
and I was constipated for 3 days. So it was. I mean, well, we had 100. We had 100 takes. Okay, it was. So the food was good. I didn't know you're supposed to spit it out every take. I'm just sitting there enjoying these pancakes. These pancakes good, boy. Another run. Let's go. Another one. I got back to the trailer.
McDonald's back in the day.
Well,
that's the only time I saw the machine working was when I worked at the McDonald's back in the day, because I used to have to load it up, and I made, McFlurries, and I made one for myself. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time I remember it ever working. Was when I worked.
For those of you who are just joining us, it's time for What's Really Going On, and we have asked Coy's guest, King Davis, who is a student pilot, to join us and to stick around with us as we talk about this. And so my question is related to Coy's story. And Coy said, and Mr. Davis said, that they have never seen Black pilots. I found that really hard to believe. And so what's really going on? The question is, are there positions or jobs in which you've never seen Black people that you would expect to? Because seeing a Black pilot, to me, and I think especially you guys in Atlanta, I'm really surprised at that. But Coy, you grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up in Chicago. And Steve, you and I
travel all over the world.
The time.
Still ain't seen none. That's a fact. I haven't seen any.
In
33 years, I might have seen 4 or 5 Black pilots, and I can't even remember what they look like because you see them so far and few.
Wow. Well, I've been on many a flight with Black pilots, Black female pilots, entire Black staff. The crew is Black. So, but I'm asking everybody: are there jobs or positions? And you want to think about this, but we're also asking people to join us online. And are there positions or jobs in which you've never seen Black people? And what surprises you about never seeing a Black person do something like a pilot or even the owner of a plane?
I know some jobs I have not seen a Black person do.
Okay.
Be the person in the cage when they lower them down to look at the sharks and film them. Or wrestle the crocodiles, alligators. We ain't seen that.
That's very true. Very true.
That's a job.
So I just want to know, is that a matter of them not applying for those jobs, Coy? Because I can imagine.
I don't think racism will stop you from being a septic tank cleaner. We just ain't going there. They got a monopoly. They can have that one. I ain't fighting for that. I ain't gonna go to Congress and be like, I want to clean doo-doo. I ain't fighting for that one. No.
I also haven't seen a Black one of the people that are the handlers for whales and dolphins.
So a lot of yours is water related.
SeaWorld, yeah.
Right. Ours.
It is. Not to say that Black people can't swim, because I can swim very well. My dad was a very great swimmer. But
I can't swim.
I haven't seen those types of jobs with Black people.
If it's 7 feet of water, by the time I finish getting tired, I'm tippy toes, I'm dead. I can't do that.
And I love to hear a grown man talk about being on his tippy toes.
Right, I just try the water, just get to the top. When I get tired of that, y'all gonna see me in the water.
The key is to float, Steve. You gotta float.
I can't swim.
Okay, you know what? We're also gonna put in your little earthquake package. We're gonna put floaties. We're gonna put the arms.
Well, I'm near the LA River, but there's no rain and water out here.
No real river.
So there's no water we can't find no water. So.
Yeah, by the time you guys get through with a good earthquake, you might be in the middle of the ocean, though.
Northern California is supposed to go in the ocean, not us.
Oh, okay.
I did my research before I moved out here.
I know that's right. So, Steve, let me ask you this: are there positions in which you are surprised or you didn't know that Black people are a part of?
Well, growing up in Buffalo, believe it or not, I never had a Black teacher. In Buffalo, we didn't. I mean, we had substitutes that would come in every now and then, but we never had like a Black teacher growing up. We had like a guy who worked in the office, and he would always be around. And there was like a basketball coach that would be around every night, but never. And I went to Buffalo Traditional School. It was a really, really supposed to be a good school. I don't know the way I turned out educationally, but this is a good school. But
wow,
no Black teacher. Yeah.
Well, I went to a private school, so there were. Well, I'm just saying there were no Black teachers. The only Black teacher I had was my mom, who was in my house, I'm sorry, I was in her house.
How about that?
Let's be clear. But do you remember the first time you had a Black teacher or instructor?
Well, my grandmother was a professor, but that's different from like being. So I always had a black teacher yelling at me. That's why I speak broken English now. I speak broken English now because my grandmother used to torture us. That I would speak as soon as I left the house. I couldn't wait to get back to the hood because she would make us speak so proper, and then you have to write a Christmas card and she would correct it in front of you. It was terrible.
Wow.
You just trying to tell her you love her, and she's like, no.
It's LOVE, not LUV.
Right,
man.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. What about you, King Davis? Are there positions? You talked about the pilots. Are there any others that you were surprised? Are there jobs or positions that surprised you that black people are in there?
I never had none of my friends actually ever had a black driver's ed teacher.
Wow. Because of the way we drive.
All my friends, all of my friends' driver's ed teacher, like when I say this, I don't mean nothing against this. All my friends' driver's ed teacher was like always an old white lady.
I had an old white man.
Never black.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, you know what? King, you're absolutely, because the only black driver's ed teacher I've seen is in that commercial where he instructs the young lady to pull in so he can get his lunch. So the mother can get his lunch. I've not seen
I've never seen that. Let me see.
Never had one.
Rosemary on Facebook says, I've never seen a black person work the cash register at an Asian wig shop.
Come to Atlanta. I know.
Atlanta?
Come to Atlanta? No, Atlanta. Yes, it's a wig shop over on the west side of the West End of Atlanta that have nothing but black people working there. It is. It is. Wow.
Okay, so that's one.
One, right. In the whole country.
It's funny. We know the same. We were talking about the same place. We got to be.
Oh, George Wallace is listening to us on YouTube. I had driver's ed and sex ed in the same car. Thank you, George.
Uncle George.
I love Uncle George.
That is hilarious, George. And with that old white woman, apparently, that we all have.
They spending that comedy money are good. I see.
We're glad to have you, George. Shirley Ann Tony Davis on Facebook said, my driver's ed teacher was Mr. Luster. He was definitely black. Was he related to the Luster hair people? I'm wondering.
That's all I was about to say.
Well, Pink Lustre?
Yeah. I like to say hi to my friend Jory Luster. How are you? That's really funny. Okay, so Mr. Luster was the exception to the driver's ed there, Mr. King Davis. But it's.
I've never seen anybody on a TV show, The Deadliest Catch. There's no black people on there.
Okay,
that's water again, though. So that wouldn't count.
Once again, water. Yeah.
Never seen any black people studying volcanoes. I've never seen any black lion trainers. I've never seen any. Has anybody black went to space yet? I don't even know if we went up there.
We so that's what's interesting to me, you guys. You've seen the black astronauts, but you've not seen any black pilots. What are we doing?
I met a black astronaut at that.
Okay.
That supersedes a pilot.
I'm just saying. No offense, Mr. King Davis, pilot to be, but that's a big deal.
No.
Right.
Coy was the first person. Coy actually was the first person I've ever heard say that she actually met a black astronaut. She's the first person.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's sad. I didn't even know we had it.
Melvin, and we've had an opportunity. Well, through my work with the Tom Jordan Show, I've had a lot of opportunities to meet black pilots and black astronauts and things like that. So I'm very blessed. But here's the other thing that I want to talk to people about. Are we failing our children in exposing them to these things?
Yes.
To these people, to these professions? Because look at this, King Davis, you're going to be walking around as a pilot and I want you to go out there and tell these children what you do and how you got here. Because I think that there is a lack of education, there's a lack of exposure, and I want us to be a part of that movement to keep exposing our children and let them know they can be on the Deadliest Catch if they want to, or whatever. You get what I'm saying?
We're robbing our children. People don't know people don't know the head and the owner of Fuddruckers is a brother, but we know Kanye West is a billionaire.
Right.
They don't know that a billionaire paid for one of those college kids. He paid their tuition, a black dude. They don't know his name, but they know who Jay-Z is. Yeah. They know all the entertainers, but we don't know the people that's really getting it in.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The heads of Fortune 500 companies. Yes. And how they got there. Let me just read this text from Don Frederick on YouTube. From nursery school on, I was in Harlem the first 5 years of my life. First grade in a Lutheran school on the Hill. Everyone was black. Many black teachers from K through college. Black university president. One black university president. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't seen it. Then I went to Buffalo State College and it was all white people. So.
Wow. I don't think I had black teachers until I came to the South, to be honest. Now that I think about it, even living in California.
Then when we did radio.
Coming back, my black teachers were here. And at Jackson State, of course.
Of course, yeah. Lady T on YouTube says, are there black air traffic operators?
Wow.
Yes.
See?
There are? I thought Ronald Reagan fired all of them.
Well, that was about 40 years ago that they did that, but they rehired and they
I'm showing my age. I'm sorry. This Just for Minutes running off. Go to commercial.
Oh, Regina Glover asked you a good question, Steve, on Facebook. Yes. Did the Universal Circus have a black lion tamer? I don't remember the lions.
They did the short. My buddy Tony Tone was the ringmaster, and he used to have a little person.
Yeah.
I almost said the other word. A little person. He was a cool dude. Yeah. And the lion's name was Bronx. I do remember that because my boy used to work.
And I can't remember. Oh, what was the little person's name?
I'm gonna look it up.
I can see it. I can see him. But yeah, that was one of the greatest things, is to take kids to the Universal Circus and see them in areas. You know what I mean?
Miss them.
Yeah.
No, it's still out there. They're still doing
what I thought. It. Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Last time I saw it was Shucky Ducky Quack Quack was the ringmaster.
I don't know if Bronx is the lion anymore. They got a cat and they don't put a beard on it, but they out there getting it in. I hope they still doing it.
We would think that there are lion tamers and tiger tamers. I mean, they come from Africa, and Africans before, we were.
They weren't trying to tame them.
Yeah, no,
they weren't trying.
They did something. Come on, they were wearing skins and stuff. Somebody did it.
Okay, they waited for him to drop dead. I don't think that they tamed them.
I think you talking about Prince Hakeem and them. We ain't really do all that.
That's coming to America stuff. King Davis, let me ask you this. You said you have a daughter?
Yes, I have a daughter.
So what would you like to introduce her to? Who would you like to expose in terms of professions and things like that, that you would like to expose her to that she may not know, such as a pilot?
I guess one of the biggest things, like for my daughter and my future kids, is letting them know that you don't have to rap or do music or dribble a ball to be successful. I've met black architects in Atlanta. I've met black restaurant owners. I've met black car salesmen. I've met black everything here in Atlanta that are successful. And I'm from Virginia. So for me to come from there to come to Atlanta and see so many black successful people in careers that I've never seen before is the things I want to show my daughter, that you can be anything. You can be anything. I mean, you're going to be black regardless, but so you can be anything. It's just up to you. You got to find what your niche is, and you got to find what you want to do.
And that comes from exposure. And so that's what I'm charging us all with, is to get out there and expose our children, our nieces, nephews, our godchildren, our neighbors' kids, make sure that they are out there and they're seeing all these black productive people. I mean, you came from a state which was one of the few states that had a black governor. You know what I mean? Right. And so you think about Douglas Wilder, and there's two. There's two black elected governors. And you were, from a state with one of them. And Steve, you now are, your home state now has a female governor for the first time. So it's things are changing.
In California, if they do the recall, we might get Larry Elder.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to have you back to talk about that too, or perhaps that's part of our entertainment.
Lord Jesus, please just take us into the ocean. Don't let it happen.
Well, on the entertainment side of it, Larry Elder is a former radio host and gadabout and conservative, and he's entertaining to watch. And from afar, not as a Californian, because just the fact that he's even.
If you take Candace Owens' wig off, that's who you got.
Dang.
They're having a recall election next week in California, and so good luck with that.
It's scary. Yes. Yeah, we black people getting together out here. We scared because we don't want to become Texas. It's close.
Oh, what?
Nobody want to come Texas. I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot you live there. Sorry, Sybil. Hey, go make a noise so I can come get you out of there.
Blink if you're okay.
Okay, all right, we got you. Listen. I'm gonna get my aunt and then we're gonna get all together. We got the Underground Railroad. It's called Greyhound.
I'm gonna stay here and fight. Yeah,
stay there and fight and get the UN so we can airlift people out of there like they did in Afghanistan.
All right, talking about entertainment, congratulations to Cardi B. She gave birth to little Offset.
Wow, congratulations.
That's
two kids.
Yeah, baby number 2. This is number 2 for her. I'm not sure what number this is for Offset. But they have officially announced that the second child is a healthy baby boy. They said they are so overjoyed to finally meet our son, already loved so much by family and friends. We can't wait to introduce him to his other siblings. And she gave birth. And of course we know that they have a little girl who was very excited to have a baby brother or sister. That's baby Culture that she gave birth to. Culture is 3, and so Offset Jr. Is now a part of the family. So we wait.
That's his real name, Offset?
No. I don't know. I just thought baby Offset would be funnier than Rufus. I don't know what his name is. If anybody can tell us what Offset's real name is.
I was about to act shocked like King about racism. Like, they did some crazy stuff. Did what? They named the baby Offset.
Well, who knows? Because the first child's name is Culture with a K. So
I want to introduce you to my daughter, Biggie Smalls. No, you can't do that.
Bigina, little Bigina. So we wish them congratulations. Now, when I say Kanye, you say
crazy.
What about homeware, housewares? It's apparently, according to reports, he has filed to trademark the name Kanye West for a number of home decor products.
Well, here's the thing. Kanye West is the greatest entertainer of our generation. I'm going to say over Michael Jackson now. This man is, remember, he said George Bush don't like black people. Mm-hmm. He went out and got the hottest socialite video vixen and married her. He got albums. He worked with Jay-Z. He was a part of Rockefeller. If you just take away the red hat,
Donald Trump supporter,
take away the red hat, and he's one of black people would adore him if you take that red hat off.
No, can't do it. Can't do it.
I can't.
And home decor, Kanye. What in the what would Kanye be putting into your home?
He's gonna make a killing off of it. Have you heard his album? And people like it. Mm-hmm. People gonna follow what he do, no matter what he do. Somebody gonna buy what he sell.
Keep those billions going. It's covering a variety of items, including blankets, shower curtains, pillowcases, towels, and textile wall hangings. Wow. So Christmas is coming, and you all may want to check out
and that's another billion
KKW Home.
By Christmas, that's another billion.
He also owns livestock.
Is that a record company, or you mean the real like horses and cows and stuff?
Yes,
in Montana, right?
Or outside of Chicago, which is it?
Chicken coops down in Waukegan.
Right. Oh, you've been there. Just Pilot King Davis. Would you buy Kanye home decor?
You
Okay.
look like you own. He look like he own Yeezys. He would. He would. He look like he own Yeezys.
Wait. Look. Wait. I do got some in the car.
I told you he looked like he wear Yeezys. I told
you. Right there. You called it, Steve. You called it. I thought he was quiet for a reason, and you called it.
He gonna have a pillowcase and a sheet when you later on.
King Davis, I don't know if you've seen our show before, but we also have what's known as our daily inspiration, known as Yogi's Jewels. It's time now. We don't have the musical accompaniment that we normally do, but we do have the words. Believe in the power of you. Believe in the power of you. So we thank you guys for joining us. Pilot King Davis, when will you get your license, do you think?
I'll have my license by February.
So how can people follow you, like on Instagram, to stay up with your success in getting your license?
My Instagram name is I am the King Davis.
Yeah, I am the King Davis. Okay, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. An interesting story.
I appreciate y'all for having me.
And good luck.
Y'all for having me. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Coy Malone, how are people following you these days?
On Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Coy_Malone. And also here every Monday night, 7 p.m. 6 Central, live with Sybil Wilkes.
And it's and that's 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Steve Wilson, we always love having you. Thank you so much. How can people follow you?
Y'all can follow me on Instagram at iSteveWilson or on Facebook with anything with comedian Steve Wilson or Steve Wilson Comedy. You can also see me this Friday on the Black News Channel in the morning show with Mike and Sharon, doing exactly what we're doing right here now, just being crazy. And whenever Sybil has me back, I love being here. Just have me back anytime.
The door is always open, my friend. Thank you all so much. We appreciate it. Nice to meet you, King and Coy and Steve. We will see you all soon. Bye.